All right, reveal number 817. Here we are with the next reveal. This one is 1966. And I have a little bit to tell you about. This is the roll that we were going to do. And this is the one that was planned. But I cut the tape off of it just so I could get it open faster. And opened up the roll. And it has brown, like spider webbing. There we go, in the center of the coin. So I dug down and I checked down a few coins, same problem. I checked down a few more coins, same problem. So this one is going to be tossed in the copper bin because it is worthless. And I have moved on to a roll here that the end coin looks very nice. And it is an original roll. It's an old one. It was probably opened just to flip a coin over and see what it looked like. But this is the roll that we're going to do, because I don't like the one I had picked to do. I don't look at these prior to the show. So sometimes I get a sour note, and I hit a sour note, and I have to correct it. So we've done that here. The wrapper goes over the coins. And here we are with now an original roll. And I gotta get these set up right. I guess Frank gets the last coin in the roll, but the first coin will go to Sissy. First one to Sissy. Let's see what we have for Sissy. Let me back out just a little bit. This one has turned just a tiny bit too, but it's not real bad. All right. Nice earlier die state coin. Nice double die obverse to be looking for. And a few nice double die reverses that I know of. And got nothing. First coin out, got nothing. We should know by the first 10 to 15 coins if we have anything here. Well struck coins though. 1966 very commonly comes kind of ugly looking as far as strike is concerned. Welcome back, Mr. McCumber. Good day to you, sir. Yeah, Bethlehem, what happened with that? Did you send it to the street address of the post office again? You need to destroy that address and be sure you send to P.O. Box 2364, Smithfield, North Carolina 27577. P.O. Box 2364, 2364, Smithfield, North Carolina 27577. It's one for Brad. These coins are just a little bit dingy looking, but they're a lot cleaner than the previous roll. Nanostacks. Unfortunately, we can't take credit for that. Smithfield Meats is in Virginia, Smithfield, Virginia. about 100 miles away from here. I thought that at first too. When I moved here, I was like, where's the meatpacking plant? So I asked somebody, they said, oh, it's in Virginia. I said, oh, okay. Yeah, I like Smithfield meat. Pretty good stuff. Who doesn't like bacon? If you don't like bacon, you're not American, right? Only real Americans like bacon. Maxton, North Carolina. This roll is just as ugly as the last one. Yeah, we'll continue. Because I like the idea of finding something good in these. And I'm hoping there is something good in these. Nah, these coins are just ugly. All right, anyone and everyone who is involved in this roll, tell me now, new roll or continue? New roll or continue? I'll wait until a few folks can chime in, let me know, and I'll go look for a new roll if that's the case. Frosty says continue. If I got nobody else to chime in and tell me one way or the other, I'll just keep going. It's all in the luck of the hunt anyway. All right, we'll just keep going. Got nothing on this coin. On the obverse anyway. Let's check the reverse. I'm not 100% sure that this is even an original roll. I do know that it wasn't stored properly if it is. Yeah, but Alex, Puerto Ricans are Americans. Last I knew, Puerto Rico is not a fully sovereign country. It is a territory of the United States. Shinbone up next. That's what I was talking about, these spots that are on here. I don't like those spots. I see spots. I don't like spots. Canadians like bacon too. They just can't tell you what bacon is because, well, to the Canadians, bacon is ham. Come from a different part of the cow. There is a quarter that proves Puerto Rico is a territory. And the Northern Mariana Islands and Guam, and, well, D.C., even though they don't have a governor. They're not a state, so they are a territory. And what else do we have? Territories. Well, there's American Samoa. There's the Virgin Islands. At one time, the Canal Zone was, as was the Philippines, but they are fully sovereign countries now. Canal Zone being that area of Panama that is chopped out and dug out so ships can go from the Pacific to the Atlantic without having to go around Argentina and Chile. Five miles each side, is that right? Jimbo, who has been very busy with work, thus has not visited as often as he used to and is dearly missed when he isn't around. I appreciate the comments in Frosty's stream regarding my voice. It's evidently what I was given to work with. And I do work with it. Still looking for something, anything. Anything nice now, you know? A little tiny bit of machine doubling up there. You can see how flat that looks. Right there on the right side of the A and the T and the E. Look how close to the field that is. You can measure that by the fact that you've got a very short shadow. And that is what machine doubling looks like. Also got some substantial dye wear on this. You notice that especially there on the bottom of the N and the O of 1. You can see how they just kind of feather out and there is no real distinct end to the letter. It's that way all the way around. Late dye state does that. Frosty says he has a short shadow. I have a short shadow around noon. Need to go eat lunch so my shadow get taller again. It works every day. Yeah, I really wish I was getting something out of this roll. But, unfortunately, we have nothing at all. The shadow knows. Oh, nanostacks. Thank you very much. Here's one for Eric. I think when I was a teenager, and I hadn't quite developed completely, I wanted to be a DJ. Why I never ended up doing that, can't tell you. I don't know. I also wanted to be a firefighter. And for some reason, I never ended up doing that either. Oh yeah, I know why. Because I don't like heights. I'll fight your fire as long as it's on the ground. You get it up tall and, well, somebody else is going to have to deal with that. We are getting nowhere fast. Join me as we sit in place on our journey through coin collecting. Coins are getting a little nicer. I said a little. not substantially so. That's interesting. It's almost like a Woody, only the stripes look like a jail cell. Very evenly spaced. It has to be the effect of something this coin was up against. The powers of evil. That's what it was up against. Wow. I so wish we had a really good roll out here right now. Not only better in condition, but also better for die varieties, because this is one of the many, many empty rolls, I'm guessing. More machine doubling there on UNITE of United. On the bottom of America. The bottom of America, right there around Key West. Coin number 20, Stanhorn. This is the same die we've seen around before. I can tell you that because of this little dude right here. I'm kind of unsure what that is. That could be a die clash. I don't see it over here on the other side, though. I'm not sure. Not really sure what that is. It's all right, though. We'll move on. All right, nothing really great there. Let's take a look at the next one. Coin number 21 for Taco John. No sign, Richard, not one. Kinda figure, if the coin appears to be an SMS coin, special mint set, it was probably minted in San Francisco, but we don't know that for sure. There's also an old wives' tale from many years back that goes something like this. If the dot after unum is really weak or not there, they were minted in Denver. But that, again, is not supported by fact. But because San Francisco minted or was it Philadelphia? Who minted the special mint set coins? Now I don't remember. Paula, are you around? She probably knows. Who minted the SMS coins of 1965 to 1967? You say both? Both Denver and... Are both Philly and San Francisco, you mean? Primarily Philly, okay. So then we can't tell at all, regardless. As I just really kind of thought of that, the proof sets of 64 were minted in Philly. The proof sets of 68 were minted in San Francisco. So there was a change that happened somewhere around that period. Rob's Numismatic Archaeology. Good morning to you. Or, as of right now, good afternoon if you're on the East Coast. Eastern time zone, noon is now. Do you know where your children are? It was San Francisco. Okay. That's kind of what I thought, but I wasn't sure. So, because San Francisco minted the regular Lincoln cents and the SMS coins. If you get a 66 that appears to be an SMS coin, but it came out of a roll, then it's probably San Francisco minted. Only kind of makes sense when they retire those dies. They didn't quit using them. They just moved over to minting regular coins with them. I have proof in a number of coins that I have here that came back from NGC that were submitted by a friend of mine. Ended up getting them back. I think there were 10 coins, and I think 8 of the 10 were called SMS, even though they came out of a BU roll. They're just that shiny. And NGC, because they didn't see them in the original roll, have to grade them as they see them. So they graded them SMS, because there's not really a good way to tell the difference. Yeah. Do you know where your children are? Hey, I have. They used to say that in the beginning of the 10 o'clock news. Locally, where I lived, I believe it was when I lived in Oklahoma City. And I believe it was Channel 4 News. It's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are? I actually saw a funny little video where a lady was talking about Gen Xers drinking out of garden hose, and this guy says, I just heard that Gen X people drink out of the garden hose. Was the sink not an option? Actually, no, because we were locked out of our houses all day. Our parents told us to go outside and play, and they left us out there, locked the doors, and if we wanted to drink, we used the garden hose, and we were proud of it. Dude, seriously, these are just ugly. Of course, there's a lot of things about Gen Xers that we are most definitely proud of. Many of which I can't repeat on a family show. But that we were educated and disciplined, not by voice, but by whip. We were a very respectful generation of people. We knew who our parents were, and we were very respectful. Most of us, anyway. Oh, you're right about that. That garden hose could be a hot thing, but you know what? Because the water comes from underneath the house, in the pipes, when you would turn that garden hose on and let it run for a minute or so, it was cold, especially when you were in 100-degree heat outside. Wow. Still not seeing much of nothing there. Frosty says, fascinating work for Rob's numismatic archaeology. Could we be let in on what that is? I'm always interested in seeing what's going on out there in the world, especially with the people who watch my shows. Oh, wow. And one of the MS-66s is DDO number 3. That's pretty cool, Chad. You reminded me, I actually have some coins that came back in my recent bulk submission that turned out to be die varieties that I did not know about that are graded MS-66. Got the deer in the headlights look. Our generation is also funnier, I think. As well as the fact that our generation is prepared to get dirty. Seems like a lot of the younger people growing up today don't understand that when you get muddy, you can go take a shower and you'll be clean again. Mud doesn't kill you. Sitting on your butt indoors all the time is what kills you. Okay. Archaeological work. So archaeology would be the study of bones, correct? And anthropology is the study of man. I'm having a little bit of trouble placing exactly. So archaeology, I mean, when I think of it, it's the little storybook tale of going out in the middle of a desert. It's nice and cool outside because we wouldn't do it in the desert heat or the badlands of South Dakota. And we're finding Tyrannosaurus Rex teeth, stuff like that, right? Whereas anthropology would be figuring out what the prehistoric people of New Guinea ate during their lifetime. I kind of always wanted to be a storyteller. I think I like the idea of telling stories. Up to coin number 37, still nothing. I will stop and talk about coins if I find a reason. So far, I haven't found a good reason. Another one for Eric. Now, so far on every coin in this roll, I have found a wee bit of information that is of educational value to someone who has not been through a lot of 1966 Lincoln cents. That the central area of the 6 here is larger than this one. And it's larger than the 9, which is just an upside down 6. and it appears as though, well, that could be a double die. Thing is, that's that way on all of the 1966s. So you'd back off of calling it a double die and say that is part of the intended design. Why they did it that way, I don't know. They're not the same size, though. Anytime that you find a rarity, your best bet is to check a lot more coins of that same issue. If you find more of your rarity, it is likely no longer a rarity. Oops. Doop, doop, doop. If you guys want to register, turn your name blue on the channel and be able to buy things at the auction, get into these rolls, and just generally help moderate the channel, you can register yourself at the email address at the bottom of your screen. That would be coppercoinspayments@gmail.com. Send me your screen name on YouTube, your real name, and make sure that you send it from an address where I can send a PayPal invoice, because that's how I charge for the items I sell. Registration is free. There is no prepayment. There is no charge. Micro redesigns also frequent. Yes, they are the little tiny things that are changed. Once we notice them, they're called varieties. Small intended, usually, changes in the design of a given series within a single year are called varieties. Hub doubling, doubled mint marks, unintended striking of two different mint marks on a single die, those are called die varieties. So we have varieties and die varieties, two different things. $76 and 86 nickels that weigh 5.4 and 5.6 grams would tell me that, unfortunately, it is likely that your scale is out of calibration. It could also be that the coins had something added to them, like a plating. They did silver plate and platinum plate a lot of the statehood quarters and other coins, but that plating generally doesn't add to the weight because it's electroplating. Any other reason why there would be 5.4 or 5.6 grams? I don't know. That what Rob said is actually very educational and very appreciated. I never really thought about it that way. So anthropology is the overall study of man, and archaeology is a subset. I really think about it that way. That is possible, Richard. It could be that they are too thick. I would think there would be other problems because the thickness tolerance of the minting press is set for the proper thickness. Anything over or under will definitely show in one way or another. They won't look like normal coins if they're too thick or too thin. Too thin, of course, they'll look understruck. Too thick, they will look extremely sharply struck, and in fact could actually break the dies. Especially when you're minting coins with 25% nickel in them. Up to number 47, haven't found anything yet. Don't necessarily plan to find anything in this roll. Just kind of doing this to keep the truck rolling. Back up and run over it again, and back up and run over it again. You know what? I think what I will do is back out and plan for my next reveal and go ahead and do my next reveal. I think I may have planned it for tomorrow, but I'll go ahead and get everything cut up and put together to do the next reveal. It'll be about 10 minutes after we end this one. But I think we can safely say that I'm not getting tired and I'm able to jump into another reveal, and I think actually I feel like it. So yes, I believe it is the 72 is the next one. And the end of this roll, again, Frank. And let's see. Any luck out of the very end of this roll? And the answer to that question would be no. All right, so we know what we've got. Not the best in the world, but I'll tell you what. Let's get prepped and do just what I said. Let's go ahead and take care of the next reveal. I will take off right now and we'll go away for, about 10-15 minutes. Get ready for the next one. And we will come back, be watching for reveal number 818. And I'll see you then. We'll be there.